I'm sorry, little princess.
I am not your little princess. I am Daenerys Stormborn of the blood of old Valyria, and I will take what is mine, with fire and blood.
She said it like she was reading from a document, not angry, not shaking. Quiet and final, the way people speak when the decision was made long before this room. Daenerys Targaryen has just been dismissed by a man who called her Little Princess 4 times in 9 minutes. She has no army, no ships, no allies he can verify. By every rule of the room, she is already lost. And then she stops losing and does something the Spice King did not see coming. She stops negotiating. The term for what she does in those 10 seconds is identity proclamation under duress, the documented psychological act of publicly declaring who you are precisely and without permission, when someone has just tried to reduce you to something smaller. This video is the full excavation of that one line. By the end, you will know it more completely than any other viewer on the internet. To calculate the atmospheric pressure of this palace in Qarth, we must understand what Daenerys and the Spice King each need from this conversation, and what it costs both of them if it fails. Daenerys has just crossed the Red Waste. Her Khalasar is down to a handful of frightened survivors. She has 3 dragons no larger than cats. She is in a city of merchants who respect one thing, leverage, and she has none of it that they can count. No army, no gold, no castle, no allies in Westeros she can name. She came to Qarth because she had nowhere else to go, and she has been inside this palace for less than 10 minutes before the most powerful merchant in the city has already decided she is worth nothing.
She has a talent for drama, this one. So, my little princess, what is it you want?
My birthright, the 7 kingdoms of Westeros.
The Spice King is not cruel. He is precise. He is a man who has built wealth out of nothing by refusing every investment that cannot show its math. By his accounting, Daenerys is a 16-year-old widow with 3 lizards and a story. He has heard the story. He calls her little princess not to humiliate her. He calls her that because that is all he sees. A child playing at Queen's. The only question beneath this entire scene is whether she can make him see something else before he leaves the room.
Do you have an army?
Not yet.
You do not have an army. Do you have powerful allies in Westeros?
There are many there that support my claim.
Listen to that exchange. The Spice King does not raise his voice. He does not insult her. He dismantles her case with 3 short questions, each one exposing a gap she cannot fill. No army, no verified allies, no personal memory of the place she wants to rule. By any logic he understands, the conversation is already over. What he does not yet know is that Daenerys is about to change what evidence means. On first watch, this scene looks like a failed negotiation followed by a dramatic exit. The Dragon Egg speech reads as desperation, a woman out of options reaching for her best story. The Spice King hears it, remains unmoved, and she walks out empty-handed. First-time viewers feel the sting of the loss alongside her. That reading is not wrong, but it misses what she is actually doing. Because the Dragon Egg speech is not a plea. It is a credential check.
But I cannot make an investment based on wishes and dreams. Now, if you'll pardon me.
Do you know Illyrio Monpatis, Magistar of Pentos?
Yes, we've met. A shrewd man.
The Spice King has just said he cannot invest in wishes and dreams, so she does not ask him to. She does something different. She cites a reference he respects, Illyrio Monpatis, a man he has met and called shrewd, then begins building physical evidence he cannot dispute. This is performative credentialing, the strategic act of providing verifiable proof of capability before delivering a demand, so the demand lands as a different kind of sentence. Intelligence officers use exactly this structure. Establish what you can prove, then make the ask. The ask becomes evidence of who you are.
For my wedding, he gave me 3 petrified dragon eggs. He believed, the world believed, that the ages had turned them to stone.
Notice the order. She does not begin with the miracle. She begins with a fact every educated man in Essos accepts. Those eggs were stone. They had been stone for centuries. She is establishing the baseline before she breaks it. This is what separates a credentialing move from a story. A story asks you to believe. A credential asks you to verify what you already know and then watch it break.
But I dreamt that if I carried those eggs into a great fire, they would hatch.
She is not asking the Spice King to believe in magic. She is asking him to believe in demonstrated results. She walked into fire. She walked out. The dragons exist. 3 of them, on her shoulder, in this city, alive. He is standing in front of the proof. And she delivers this credential, not with pride or fury, but with the quiet certainty of someone reading a financial statement they have already reviewed. The credential is complete before the line lands. What is beneath the claim is not ambition. It is the only identity she has left. At the moment Daenerys walks into this palace, she has lost everything that defined her. Khal Drogo is dead. Her son is dead. Her Khalasar has shattered. The city of Qarth let her in only because she threatened to curse them with the dying breath of a devastated mother, and the merchants called it theater. She has nothing. Not gold, not armies, not land. What she has is a name and a dream and 3 small dragons. The claim is not vanity. It is the last object she is holding in a room that has been stripped empty.
When I stepped into the fire, my own people thought I was mad. But when the fire burnt out, I was unhurt. The mother of dragons.
The line, "My dreams come true," which lands moments later, is not a boast. It is a description of the only mechanism she has learned to trust. Her marriage was arranged. Her brother sold her. Her husband was taken from her. Every structure she believed in collapsed. The one thing that did not collapse, the one thing, was a dream she had about fire and eggs. When she acted on it, it worked. Prophetic self-fulfillment is the sociological term for this mechanism. When a person's belief in their own destiny is so complete that it changes how they act, and those changed actions eventually make the belief come true. She believed she could hatch dragons. She walked into fire, they hatched. The loop is closed. She is not delusional. She is operating on the one piece of evidence she has that cannot be argued with.
I'm no ordinary woman. My dreams come true.
Watch her face when she says it. There is no smile. There is no triumph. There is the flat affect of someone reporting a fact. The Spice King hears it. He acknowledges the dragons. He has no argument against the evidence she has presented. And this is where the wound becomes visible, because what she needs from him is not money. She needs a man with power to confirm she is real. The dream is the only thing keeping her standing. If the dream cannot move a merchant in Qarth, then everything she has survived was for nothing. The claim is armor. Beneath it is a girl who is one rejection away from collapse, and she knows it, and she cannot let him know it. In 1429, Joan of Arc stood before the Dauphin of France, a man who had every reason to dismiss her. She was a 17-year-old peasant girl with no army, no title, no political weight. She told him she had received a divine command to drive the English from France. He had advisors, he had resources, he had everything she lacked. He almost sent her away. He didn't. 19 months later, she had turned the war. 8 months after that, she was captured. 6 months after that, she was burned at the stake. The pattern is exact. A young woman with nothing but a conviction walks into a room full of power and says a sentence that changes history. And the sentence costs her everything in the end.
I admire your passion. But in business, I trust in logic, not passion. I'm sorry, little princess.
Listen to the word sorry. The Spice King uses it the way people use apologies when they are not actually apologizing, as a closing statement, a social ritual that ends a conversation. He is dismissing her politely, and that is the moment she steps forward, voice dropping to something quieter than anger, and delivers the line, not to change his mind. He has already decided. She delivers it because it is true, and because the room needs to hear what is true before she leaves it. The term from classical rhetoric is valedictory threat, from the Latin valedictio, meaning farewell address. A valedictory threat is a final statement made at the moment of departure, not designed to change the listener's mind, but to mark the moment as historically significant and ensure it is remembered. Caesar, crossing the Rubicon, said nothing memorable in the act itself. He simply crossed. But great leaders who know they are making history say something as they cross, because the statement outlasts the room it was spoken in. The Spice King will not give her ships, but everyone standing in that palace will remember what she said. And remembering is how legends move from city to city ahead of armies.
And I will take what is mine. With fire and blood, I will take it.
Yes, my lady, but not with my ships.
The Spice King's response, "I will take it, yes, my lady, but not with my ships," is technically a refusal. But listen to what he calls her now. My lady. Not little princess, not foreign girl, my lady. The frame has shifted. She has not changed his decision. She has changed how he describes her in the room after she leaves. That is all a valedictory threat is designed to do, not win today, but establish what the record will say. And the record now says, she is a lady, the dragons are real, and what she promises is fire and blood. But here is what the show never told you. In A Clash of Kings, the novel this season is based on, the conversation with the Spice King happens differently. Daenerys never speaks the line "with fire and blood" to a merchant. The phrase appears throughout the books as the official words of House Targaryen, spoken in formal contexts. What George R.R. Martin gives her privately inside her own head as she walks through Qarth is something far more unsettling, a mantra she repeats to herself when she is most afraid. I am the blood of the dragon. I must be strong, not fire and blood, blood and strength. The show externalizes this private fear as a public declaration. The book keeps it as a private instruction she gives to herself. That difference is the entire video. In the book, fire and blood is a public mask, the formal house words of a dynasty. Beneath the mask is a frightened girl telling herself she must be strong. The show collapses the mask and the truth into one sentence. By doing so, it gives the audience the version Daenerys wants them to believe, not the version she actually lives in. The book Daenerys is more fragile and more aware of her fragility. The show Daenerys is the performance, and the performance is what eventually takes over. This is where the hubris at nemesis cycle begins. Hubris in Greek tragedy is not arrogance, it is treating a mortal act as if it were divine. What she does in this room is treat her own survival of the fire as proof of divine sanction. The dragons are not just dragons. They are evidence that the universe has confirmed her claim, and that belief, correct in this room in this season, will carry her all the way to King's Landing and the things she does there. There is a behavioral pattern inside this scene that shows up in every negotiation, where one party holds an asset the other party cannot measure. When a person walks into a room with something the opponent has no category for, they have two choices. They can try to translate the asset into the opponent's language, which almost always undersells it, or they can demonstrate it and let the opponent build a new category. Daenerys tries the first approach for 4 minutes. She asks for ships, she offers triple repayment. She accepts his framework, the trade framework, and tries to make her case inside it. She loses, not because she is wrong, because the framework cannot hold what she is offering. Then she switches. She stops translating and starts demonstrating. She shows him the evidence, the eggs into fire, lets him sit with it, and then names what she is. Not what she has, what she is. Any negotiator in any industry who has ever held something the other side cannot price, a patent, a relationship, a network, a capability that breaks the model, has been in this exact room. The mistake is always the same, trying to explain the value in terms the other side already understands. What works is what she does. Demonstrate. Name. Leave. Joan of Arc did not argue doctrine with the Dauphin's theologians. She asked for men and a horse. She demonstrated in the field at Orléans. The asset that cannot be priced must be shown, not sold. The mistake the Spice King makes, and the mistake every senior person in every room makes when a younger person walks in with something they cannot categorize, is treating the asset as a story instead of a fact. The fact will keep being a fact, whether he funds it or not. You came into this video thinking this scene was about a queen asking for ships and being refused. You are leaving it knowing it is about something more precise. A woman who walked into a room with the only asset no one could take from her, a thing that already happened, that was already real, that no accountant could dispute, and delivered the first line of the legend she would spend the next 6 seasons becoming. Now go back and watch the Spice King's face after she finishes. He does not sneer, he does not laugh. He pauses, and then he calls her my lady, not little princess. The valedictory threat landed exactly where it was aimed. He just doesn't yet know what fire and blood will mean when she means it. By the time the Qarth storyline ends, he will. And on rewatch, knowing what she does at Astapor, at Meereen, at King's Landing, this scene becomes a different kind of footage. It is no longer a young queen finding her voice. It is the dragon's first true word, the hatchling moment of every burning that follows. Was the fire and blood declaration a real promise, or was it the moment Daenerys began performing a version of herself she could not survive? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'll see you in the next.